Okay. Hi, everybody. Give me 1 second to add Uncle Doug in here. So I did have these pre done to where he would just automatically pop into a spot, but I have to reassign that slot to him. Here we go. Save. There he is. Hold on. All right. You are unmuted now.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful Wednesday workshop.
I'm just going through and I'm just reassigning Uncle Doug here quick. So that way he's in the views that I need popped in here. Okay, that should be okay. All right. Hi, everybody. We have Peggy, Lynn, Carlene, my other Lynn, and Stephanie in the comments there. And I'm sure we have some people over on YouTube as well. We have a lot of stuff to go through today. There's a couple new techniques that I'm going to show you guys. How to deal with vinyl, metal, and resin together, as well as creating a backlay to some art metal pieces. So the backlay I'm talking about is a blank behind the open work piece. So it goes from an open work piece to a closed piece. So I'm super excited. I think Jean named this collection Spring something, Spring Garden. So I think that's very fitting for what we have today. I'm going to zoom this up here quick so that way you guys can get a full view of what we're going to be demoing today. I'm trying really hard to do at least 2 necklaces, 2 bracelets, and 2 pairs of earrings. And then we have them kitted up kind of with their color tones. So this necklace and this bracelet is a kit option. This necklace and these earrings are a kit option, and then this bracelet and these earrings are a kit option. And those can all be found on vintagelifeshop.com, but I will be putting up the Carter numbers, so you will be able to purchase from Facebook as well. I would like to pop up Peggy's comment here quick. Corian, I'm in love with the umbrella earrings. They're right up there with the Black Eyed Susan earrings. You're so sweet, Peggy. And I love that you said Black Eyed Susan instead of sunflower, because that was my intent. But I know some other people thought they look like sunflowers, which they look pretty similar in color tones. So that's super fun. But while Uncle Doug's on here, I do want to show you guys the Big Loot giveaway. And then I want to show you guys what is up for trivia grabs as well. So this is the Big Loot giveaway for today. There's some hand painted items, some printed leather, some printed brass. There's some really cool elements in here, from filigree to castings, solid copper, natural brass, solid brass. Anything you want in here is probably in here. So it's a really great sampling, and all you have to do is love react to the live demo for a chance to win. And then to claim this offering, you must have an open order with us on vintagelifeshop.com, and we will ship it to you for free. So we have that for our Big Loot giveaway. So get your love reactions in early. Hi, Patty. It's good to see you, and Kathy as well. And then these are going to be our trivia items for today. So there's 3 different enameled packs and then a ceramic pack. So just to change it up a little bit, these are some things that you've seen before, but not in trivia. So excited to bring that to the table today. So stay on your toes for trivia, and Uncle Doug will join us back when we go over that stuff. All right. Bye, Uncle Doug. There we go. We're still skipping around here. Beautiful. All right. So that's your sampling. I do have my AirPods in today, so I'm hoping that the sound quality is up to par. And then let me get up some of these kits here. So I'm going to go through each of the kits, and then we will go through the bulk products. So what we try to do with the kits here, Since it is labor intensive to pull all the individual items for the kits, and you do get everything you need to create these items from the findings to the stampings, chain, I mean, you name it, you will get everything. I'm even including the vinyl that I used for the bracelet and this necklace too. So, I mean, like everything you need to make these are included in the kits. But because they are labor intensive and it takes a minute to pull the kits, a lot, a lot harder than pulling some bulk packs. But so the kits are going to be obviously extremely discounted. But if you want the best per piece deal, you buy the bulk packs. But, if you want to save yourself time from having to look up, every single different item I've used in these, then that's where the kits come into play. And, if you just want everything you need and save yourself all that time, because I probably spent about an hour confirming all of the part numbers for these. And that's with me having a majority of the part numbers here memorized. So I can only imagine how much time it would take for some other people to go through. And that's why the kits are super special, because you get to save all that time on researching what items go into it. That's already done and it comes to you, and you can just dump out the pack and follow along with the video. Awesome, Stephanie. Thank you. Uh-oh. What's Peggy talking about? I'm so curious. Hi, Patty. I don't know if I said hi to you yet or not, but it's good to see everybody. And I'm ready to get started. So we're going to bring up the first necklace and bracelet kit. This is going to be the kit with the vinyl that's coming with it. So I'm going to pull these off to the side here. So you have this beautiful necklace and then this beautiful bracelet. And I wanted the color tones to match per kit. So you have your copper tones and then your tones. That copper in there is what our vinyl is. So I wanted to give you a super close up or super close look at all the detail that goes into this, because sometimes it's hard to see from pictures being far out. This is a really beautiful, super faceted jewel drop, and that's our jet black color. And then you have our art metal, which, oh my goodness, can you believe it hugs this jump ring just perfectly? Could you imagine even making this into a bracelet and having like this as you like on either side? Maybe if this was more, I would say if this was more square like this, then I would use two of these on either side as my bracelet connectors, because I think that's just absolutely stunning to have there. We call them leaves, but I know that we've had a lot of names come through for this piece, such as mermaid tail and whale tail. So I think maybe Lisa was the one who said it was a whale tail. It was either Lisa or Peggy. I think I got it from Corian. Oh my gosh, what are you guys even talking about in the comments here? You guys can't talk about me when I'm not looking at the comments. Oh, sneezing. Yeah, don't get me sick, especially across the screen. That would be something else. All right, so like I said, Cart 100 is the necklace and bracelet kit. This is the copper tone kit. You get everything you need to make both of these pieces, the necklace and the bracelet, for $39. Grab it now. I think I only have 10, maybe 10 of these left. But this is the vinyl sample that you are going to get in your kits. So just look at how beautiful that is. Give you a good shine here of all that detail that's in the vinyl there. So you will get a sampling of this, enough to make your stamped connectors there, as well as the little inner circle. And then we'll go through how to do that. So I'm super excited to bring vinyl to the table, because I have worked a lot with vinyl in the past, not for jewelry, but I have done it for vehicles and for business windows, so on and so forth. So I thought it was really cool to be able to bring that skill into jewelry making. So we do have that that comes with it, as well as everything else. But I did want to show you guys that you're going to get a nice sampling of that. Let's get into some construction. I'm thinking that we start with this bracelet because it's super easy. All of the jump rings and the findings that I used are the copper antique plating. They are all brass based. And then you have your CL0003 there at the top with the JR40, as well as two JR20s, and then they go all the way down to the end into your JR20s and then your last JR40 for your clasp. So this one's super simple. So I think we'll start with that one first, and then we'll get into this one right afterwards because it's the same concept. And then we'll do a trivia after we show these two things. Thanks, Jean. I wondered what were on the blanks. Vinyl. Yes. Isn't that crazy? So I wanted to also bring vinyl to the table because I don't want to say that some people aren't great with colors or painting, but if you're not super confident about painting or using paints, vinyl is a really good substitute to be able to get that paint look, but making it pretty dang easy. And it looks super high end. So I grabbed a caliper, and I'll give you these measurements on the screen here. But I wanted to show you guys how I ended up measuring this bracelet here. So your stamped pieces, I'm going to bring up the bulk pack for these. Scalloped bezel, cart 101 are these, I thought they looked like postage stamps. So it's like a memoir postage stamp connector, which also reflects as a bezel, which is super cool. And it's got all this texture in there. Even if you wanted to do just paint instead of vinyl, can most definitely do that. But this pack would retail for at least $60 and you're getting it for $20. So we're giving you a super, super, super great deal on these natural brass scalloped bezels. So cart 101 for the bulk pack. Thanks, Lynn. You guys are just so full of compliments today. You're so sweet. Yes, there is vinyl in the rectangle pieces, Cindy. So we're changing it up a little bit and giving you a new technique to work with. So those are the scallop bezels. And I took my caliper here and measured the inside and the outside. But I want to make sure I have it zeroed out. So I'm getting you the correct measurements. I think I also have these measurements in the product listing on vintageliveshop.com. The inside, trying to get you a good view of the numbers here. 15.9, so just under 16 millimeters. And then, oops, I'm so bad at using this the opposite way. Go the other direction. That's going to be about 12.6, so pretty dang close to 12.5. There we go. So those are your measurements for the inside of this bezel, and then I'll show you guys how to do the other bezel as well. So we're going to mark that out on a little sheet here. So I'm going to cut off a little bit of the sheet that I've already used. And you can do it. I suggest using the backside. So this is the paper that you're going to peel off. So if you are to draw, do not draw on the front, on the pretty side, draw on the back side, your cut shape. So let me actually measure this again. Say about 12.5. That's about the width of this, which is nice. And then we'll go about 16 point something. We'll just go around 16 millimeter for that. And I will mark my little marks. It's gonna be a little bit longer than that. And then I gotta reach across my body to grab my pen here. So we're gonna say it's about here and about here. And then it's about the width of the side, which this pen isn't drawing on here great, but at least I can see where my little divots are. And I'm going to cut that out. I mean, you guys probably don't need to see me cutting, but we'll just do it. And I'm going to save myself here. And I'm going to cut it a little bit larger because I can always cut down, but I can't cut back up. So I'm going to lay this down here to see approximately how much more I need to cut off. And I think I'm going to go probably like that much. Maybe just a tad more. But I like how the back has a grid. It just makes it a lot easier to go about doing that. So that's pretty dang close. I need to go a little bit, tiny bit shorter on this side and maybe just a tiny bit back on the width. That's getting pretty close. I think just another little snip here on the top. That might be a little too much, but that's pretty close. That'll be fine for now. All right. So after you do that, you're going to take some Loctite. Now I find that Loctite, the liquid, is my favorite, and I do make that a point nearly every live because I can just paint the liquid Loctite right on. And doing that, I'm going to use a silicone brush because it's easier to get Loctite off a silicone brush than it is a bristle brush. Trust me, I've done it. All right, so I'm going to paint my Loctite on here. And I'm going to ensure that it's not only in the center, but I'm bringing it all the way to the edges. I don't want the edges of my vinyl to lift up. The adhesive on the vinyl is not strong enough to stay on the piece as is. So that's why we're adding some liquid Loctite, is to ensure that it stays nice and flat, especially because we're topping it with resin, which is going to protect the top of it. But if you didn't put Loctite down, I would not be confident that your resin would stay down because it would be on top of the vinyl instead of it being glued down. It could pop back up. It's like I said, the adhesive on the vinyl isn't super, super great unless you're like sticking it to a window. Then it would probably be fine. But we're sticking it to some metal. So I'm going to pull this off the backing here, stick my nail under there. And then we have our adhesive part. Be careful when you're doing this because I got Loctite on my fingers. So you might want to wear some gloves or something if you're worried about getting Loctite on your fingers, because that is no fun. I can't tell you how many times I've had to peel off Loctite from my fingers. I'm gonna go with the end of a paintbrush here. I'm going to go all over the top so it pushes any extra Loctite out. You can, if there is Loctite coming out, you can just soak it up with a paper towel. Be super quick about it though, because the paper towel can get stuck to the Loctite. But we're just making sure that it's all the way down. And then you take some resin and we're going to put that right over top. And you can also use a silicone brush to do this. I'm going to grab a different one. Do not use the same one that you're using for your Loctite. Because I'm going to spread this resin around. I want it to be all over my copper piece here. And I wanted to show you the difference between the bright copper and the antiqued version. So this is going to be the bright copper, and then I have an antiqued finished version right next to me that I'll bring out. So on my bracelet and the next version that I'm going to show you, I took some onyx paint, put it on a paper towel, and just slightly dabbed the vinyl to bring out some more of that texture. I wanted to show you what the bright copper would look like, not touched, versus the painted version. Okay, so that looks pretty good for the resin there. I'm gonna grab my UV light because we need to cure this baby. I actually forgot to plug that in. I need to. There we go. And take my handy dandy tool that Uncle Doug made me, and we're gonna scoop this up. Oh, I don't know if it'll do it because the sides are serrated. There we go. And I'm gonna shovel this into my UV cure light. And while that's curing, this is the antiqued version, and then I'll give you a close-up of what they both look like, so you can see the difference between the two. I think you can easily glue a mini gear or key on top of the vinyl and suddenly the look has gone steampunk. Absolutely, Sally. So that's kind of what I did on this one, is I added the dragonfly on top of the vinyl and then put resin over top of it. Because it really does, like you said, it just upscales the whole design. So you can most definitely add some little gears, you can add some little animals, just whatever little tiny charms you can find to fit in there, I think would make it look super, super good. And let me tap. I like to tap my resin with like a little metal piece to see if it's cured all the way. I think that needs a little bit more time there. While that's curing, I already went through the components for this, but I do want to bring out these other pieces. So I have we'll start on this as that other one's curing. So we're gonna save some time today. And then this JR 116. So we have for our necklace, we have the JR 116 and the little mermaid tail, though we'll call it. And then I need to bring out some of this other filigree. So I'll just get my stuff ready for this. I used a solid brass bezel in here, but I did add the natural brass version yesterday. So I'm going to wrap this in a natural brass version so you can see the difference between the two colors as well. But there is that option to get either or. And then we have this like a super tiny cute dragonfly. So that's gonna go there. And then we have our jewel drops, and you will get a little bail with it. So these bails are perfect for the jewel drops. So that's all in there. Your chain comes with it, your findings come with it. Everything you need, including that vinyl, comes in that kit. All right, this is cured now. So this is the bright copper versus just a little bit of antique. I guess it's a little hard to tell on the screen here. Can you tell, like, oh man, it's the glare. Okay, there you go. Can you see the difference between the darker and the lighter now? So our before resining this, I added the little black paint splotches with the paper towels to make the copper tone a little bit darker instead of bright. And then we just left this one as is. This is the one that we just demoed. So this one's more of the bright copper versus the antique copper version. Did want to make sure that you guys saw that difference. Hi, Chris. Good to see you. I thought it was a B. You thought it was it. I don't know. It might be a B. I actually, now that you're saying something, it does look like a little bee, but it also looks like a little dragonfly. So whatever makes your heart happy, I'm okay with you calling it whatever you want. Let's see. Actually, hold on. Let's see. It is a tiny dragonfly. At least that's what Vintage named it, you sillies. Which actually, I think that's a piece we should bring back because I just love using it. And I think this is like my last little sampling I have of it. So if you're interested in that coming back, let me know because I use it all the time. But that completes that section of the demo. So I'm excited to get into the natural brass version of this bezel wrap here. So I'm going to pull this up here because that is still part of the kit, but I want to kind of get it out of the way. There we go. It's pretty. And don't forget, you guys, if you spend over $100, you will get little gifts in your orders. They might be something that I've made or just a sample that we've had in the past that didn't go into production. Just little cute, simple things. Sometimes they're a little bit more crazy if you're spending more of the like $300, $400 mark. Then we add a little bit more, and every $100 that you spend, you get a gift. So if you spend $500, you're going to get 5 gifts, so on and so forth. I think it is a B. We can rename it. I don't, yeah, I suppose we can rename it, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, I thought it was a dragonfly when I first looked at it. And I just totally broke my thumbnail. So you guys are going to have to bear with my gross looking split up. Hopefully that's not too, I'll keep this thumb off the screen. Okay. So we will do our whale tail wrap here in a moment. I'm going to start with the natural brass version. So the solid brass version, I did want to darken it up a little bit. So I added just a tiny bit of the onyx paper towel technique, just dapping it on a little bit. But I'm really excited to use this one. So I'm going to take the relief block to this right now. Because once I have it wrapped, I'm not going to be able to relief it like I am unless I just totally take it apart. Because I do want a little bit of color variation in that necklace. Because you guys know that I'm big on mixed metals. Super big. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty. All right. So we need one of these suckers. This is a compass that this one is like really old, I think, because Kieran had brought this up to me. But get yourself a little compass. This makes drawing circles and getting the right. I like that, Chris. We'll call it the dragon bee. But it's like so old that we gotta grease her up, and then this is what holds it like together. This is so different than the ones that I used in school. So you're gonna want one of these to measure your circle and then to redraw your circle. I'm gonna pull this up just a tiny bit here because we need that vinyl again. There it goes. Put it under my UV light. No wonder I couldn't find it. All right, I'm gonna stick this right in the center of my bezel. And I'm going to bring my pencil in about where it would land here. And then I'm going to make sure that it stays in the spot that I need it to. That looks about right there. And I'm just going to spin my vinyl underneath. It's a pretty good circle there, if I may say. And we're going to cut this sucker out. And vinyl's cheap, you guys. You can get like a 12-foot roll. Or no. What do they sell them in? Like 24-foot rolls? Where the heck is my vinyl roll here? I'll show you here. So obviously, just a little bit of this vinyl has been used already. I'm frozen on my screen. There we go. Still frozen. There we go. Okay. So this is the roll. This is how many rolls. Hold on. How many rolls come with it? A bunch for 10 bucks. That's a great deal, especially if you want to add some of this cool textured vinyl in your pieces. And they do like so many colors. Like I said, so many textures. They do metallic, holographic. There's a bunch of different things that you can do with vinyl. All right, I almost got my circle cut out here. It might not be just, it's not like perfect, but it'll do. I need to go in just a bit more. I think my thing was a little bit larger than what I was anticipating. Hopefully this won't be too small now that I'm kind of guessing on it. Like I said, I can always cut down more, but I can't add more to it. All right, we'll go a little bit smaller here. That might have been a little too much. Let's see. I always say that, but then I was like, I just need to go a little bit more. It's a tiny bit more. So we're like right on the little beads that go around the bezel there. But ever since I started working with vinyl on cars, I've always had this little thing for it when doing like all the windshield banners and stuff like that. So I'm actually really happy that I get to bring vinyl as a technique into jewelry. All right, just a tiny bit more. You guys are probably getting sick of me cutting this dang circle down how many times. But I want to see what it looks like on the natural brass version instead. I'm like, why? Either I'm rotating this not enough, but I feel like I'm just ending up in the same spot every time. The same size. Go a little bit, then watch, it'll be too much. It'll be too much. That's pretty good. Let me just round out this little point here on the side. Okay. Unfortunately, I need to leave for an appointment. Okay, Candy, we'll see you later, girl. Have fun at your appointment. Don't forget to watch the replay. Version of a compass. Oh, that's funny. Caveman version of a compass. You're dang right. Okay, let me grab my Loctite and my little silicone brush. We're gonna do the same thing. We're going to glue this vinyl down. All right, there we go. That's pretty good. Let's unstick this beauty. Put that inside our bezel. Liquid Loctite gives you just a little minute to move something around before it's like super stuck there. So get it into position very quickly. And then we're gonna go over it with the end of our paintbrush to really get it down and stuck good. There's just a little bit of extra Loctite that I'm just gonna push around this. There we go. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So now we're glued down in that one. Let me just add a little bit of black here using that paper towel technique. So I take the paper towel, add a little bit of tiny bit, because black really just can overpower. We're gonna just stamp it in the center there, which is gonna mute that copper tone a little bit so it's not as bright. If you like the bright, by all means, keep it bright. But I like to antique a lot, so we're going with the antique version. Beautiful. All right. Then you're going to lay your dragonfly in the center. Now, if you want to use this hole, be mindful of where the hole is. But I did not use that hole, so I just shifted the hole over underneath the filigree because I ended up using the top point of this filigree to connect. So you don't need the hole if you don't want the hole. So I'm gonna twist it this way so I can't see the hole and it kind of disappears a little bit behind the filigree wrap. So that looks pretty good there. And then we're gonna add our resin. Oh, goodness, you guys. All right, put a little bit there and a little bit on this side. And then I can pull it. Because I don't want it on top of my bee. I mean, I do, but I don't want it where my little chaton's going to be sitting. Okay. And then I'm going to I can move my dragonfly around a little bit in here, which you can also probably put I think for this one, I put my resin down first and then kind of squished the dragonfly into it. So I'm just doing this a little bit differently. And the bezel is really great with these little beaded parts around it because it really just holds everything in. Even if you add a little too much resin, it'll start to dome instead of pulling over the edge, which is super nice. I'll go a little bit on the wings here, but staying out of that little center of the dragonfly because I need to glue my chaton there. We're just painting our resin onto our dragonfly. And there's like a little black piece in here. I'm gonna see if I can push down to the more dark portion of the vinyl. There we go. Shift that over a little bit. I think that's looking great. So we're gonna scoop this up, put this into our UV light. There we go. And then we will start with this. So I'm going to take this art metal piece here, which I do have this in a bulk pack as well. Actually, I'm gonna pop up because I did forget to pop up the bezel pack here. So the bezel that I'm working with, you get 12 pieces for $22, cart 102. Solid brass or natural brass. You can choose either color. It's got that super pretty pattern around the edge. It's like a floral pattern, which is neat. And then that's the natural brass version. For cart 102, 12 pieces for $22. And that's looking pretty good in there so far. And then I'm going to bring up the art metal leaves pack, which is our mermaid tail. This is what we used in the top part to hug our jump ring, which it's super, super cool. And art metal is rare. I think we're the only people that do it. Which it's cool to have a black colored metal, but it's got two rivets. There's one on the top and one on the bottom. You can create loops out of these. So there's two different ways that I used the art metal rivets in two different kits. So we'll go over both of those, but we're gonna loop the top hole here, which is going to be your hole that's connecting to your big jump ring. So we're gonna rotate that. I'm gonna pull it out a little bit first. And then go in with a decent sized loop because my jump ring there, she's pretty thick. We want to make sure that we can secure this to the jump ring. That's looking pretty good. You could view that loop. Beautiful, beautiful. Gonna curl just a little bit more there. Let's see if we can fit this jump ring through it while our bezel is curing. I love this jump ring, by the way. This is a really great jump ring. And we'll see if we need to make our loop a little bit bigger or if I might need to make it just a little bit bigger here. All right, close that. This is your little hugged jump ring. And then the other side is what's going to go into the top of this filigree. And I'm just going to start my loop on the side, and then I'll open it back up once I need to slide this pendant thing on there. All right, let's see if that's cured. Just a tiny sticky, but not bad. So that's actually super cute in the natural brass color, which it would look cute if you hung it normal like this, because then your bees kind of flying off to the side there. But we're going to put this bezel in this filigree to start. That's for size. But I want my dragonfly to be straight. So I'm going to push this hole off to the side so it gets covered up with the filigree. And I do have this filigree available in a bulk pack as well. 3 pieces for $18. Cart 104. It's this natural brass filigree that I have used several times. You can view all that inspiration on vintageliveshop.com and see, we've cut this before, we've bent it to wrap around bezels. We've created some really, really cool earrings with these and necklaces. Let's get this lined up. So this top hole here and this bottom hole is going to be your guide for where you're adjusting your dragonfly to lay. I want it straight up and down, and these 2 points are what I'm going to end up using for my connecting points, which turns out these are also connecting points. So if you wanted to, you could do something more like this, where you're dropping a jewel drop off of each. That's extremely stunning. Otherwise, you can do some chain too. I know some ladies love it, some ladies don't. To each their own. But you can also take a little section of chain here. This may or may not be the chain that I would use to do this. It's just for an example, but you can loop this underneath as well. So it's like it's a loop look versus having nothing on the sides, but do know that those points are also open to be able to connect jump rings to. And other bales and whatnot. The extra drops are super cute, Lisa, aren't they? But it's good to see you in here now. You love the Falco with the filigree? Ooh, yes, the iridescents are amazing. I'm gonna pop up Doug's comment here. You guys know we love sending you text messages. So please text live LIVE to 855-948-2148 so you guys can get reminders for pre-sales and when the live is happening, so on and so forth. So make sure you are signed up for those. All right. So you can see here that a little bit of this filigree is going to overlap, but it is so easy to pend, so easy that I started doing this just with my fingers. So I'm going to hold my bezel there in the center, and I'm going to fold up two sides, and then I'm going to flip this upside down and do that on the other side. I find that this is the easiest way to make sure your bezel is going to fit. So we're just folding up our sides. You don't even need a tool for this. Isn't that crazy? But I ended up using a tool just to make sure that everything's just super, super flat. So you will need your chain nose here eventually, but not right now. We're just using our fingers. We're gonna pop those in a little bit. That's looking good. Adjust my bezel a little bit. Make sure my dragonfly is going up and down. Very nice. Oh yeah, that's a beaut. That crazy? I just did that with my stinking fingers. What? You guys, okay, yeah. Stephanie loves the 3 drops too. The man, guys, Corian's just gonna have to do that. Maybe I'll finish off this one like that. Isn't that gorgeous? I do have a crystal pack available too, where it comes with one of each different, oops, one of each different colors, which that's kind of neat. Maybe instead of this one, though, I do like the powdered blue or like the light sapphire to do like 3 tones. That's pretty. Or even just 2 tones if you add another little thing there. Or you could do, this would be pretty too if you did a jewel drop there and then did your Rivoli on the bottom with another jewel drop coming off the other side. So this Rivoli and this jewel drop are pretty dang close in color. So you can choose to do 3, 2, 1. I do have a crystal pack up. That's available on vintagelifeshop.com. But since we're talking about it, I'm going to bring it up. Not all of the crystals that I used for this for the whole collection today are not all of the crystals are included. I was very limited on some tabs and some other things, but I did include 4 different jewel drop colors, which I'm going to push these up here. 4 different jewel drop colors, 1 Rivoli color, and a massive Swarovski dragonfly. So I used the light sapphire Rivoli in this bracelet, and then the black jewel drop on the bottom of this necklace, and then the big crystal for the bottom of this necklace. So make sure you grab the crystal pack if you want. You can grab 2 of them, and then you can do something like this, or 3. No, 2. If you buy the kit comes with one of these jewel drops already. So if you buy the kit and then you buy 2 crystal packs, you would have 3 of these. I don't know how many more of the blacks that I have. I think I'm pretty limited on the black jewel drops as well. But I'll keep you guys posted. Okay. So where's my piece here? I'm going to take some chain nose and I'm going to switch this back to the filigree we were working with. part 104. And I'm going to cinch these in nice and tight on all sides. And it's moving a lot more than what you think it is because the bezel is dapped. So when I'm squeezing, I'm also matching the curvature of the back of the piece. So you're going to be squishing quite a bit here to make it nice and flat against the back of the bezel. You're going to be like, whoa, I didn't realize there was that much space to be crimped together. Well, dang right. And then we're going to, on these 4 edges, we're going to do an extra little crimp. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gorgeous. And then to attach your top piece, we are going to open up our loop we made. To slide my filigree, I might need to open it a little bit more. Slide my filigree in here. And then close it, but I'm going to close it with my chain nose. I find that's a little bit easier than trying to stick the round nose back through that hole with the filigree in there too. So that's the start of your pendant. And then on the bottom here, so these are really super amazing bales for the jewel drops. So what I do for these is I take these little insert tabs there and I bend them a bit more flat so they're easier to get in there. So we're just turning those little pieces in. And then I'm going to pull this apart a little bit more. I'm going to try and string this through, but I need to string it through my filigree first. And then we're going to stick these through the holes, but I might need to open it a little bit more. That might be a perfect fit. Hold on. Just need it to go down a tiny bit into that hole. Okay, that's pretty good. And then we're going to squish it together with our chain nose. And then your pendant for this is complete. Look at how pretty that is. Oh, hold on. I wish this top part wasn't so blurry. We'll do our look at the end because that just keeps pausing, but I just love it. And then you glue your little chaton there in the center. I have a little tiny one. I'm going to dip my glue or dip my silicone brush into my glue. I just need like a tiny, tiny, tiny drop. Tiny, 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 tiny. Beautiful. And then we're going to take some tweezers, lift up our flat back and drop that right on. I'm going to scoot this over so I can make sure that this is pretty center. Scoot over just a little bit. Press it down. Gorgeous. So there's the solid brass version and the natural brass version. The solid brass version will be coming in the kit. So if you want the natural brass version, buy the bulk pack. And I'll pop up that bezel pack again. So the bezel, this is the solid brass version, and then this is the natural brass version. You can choose one or the other, or both. You can have them both if you really want. And then you come up, we're gonna do a direct link from chain to jump ring. This is CH20 chain, which I do also have that available on vintageliveshop.com with a JR40 at the end of one side. You have a JR20 with your CL0003 on the other side. and then you close it up, and that necklace is done. And I'll pop up that chain pack here, fine oval. You can either get a 20-foot spool or an 8-foot pack. The 8-foot pack will be $25. The 20-foot spool will be $50. Somewhere around there. I can't remember. Let me see here. One behind me. That was strange. I had. Okay, so it looks like you can get either natural brass or solid brass for the chain as well. So you can choose whether you want it in a spool or a pack, natural brass or solid brass. But isn't it crazy how just simple this whole thing was? I mean, we barely used any tools. And then the vinyl being a bezel insert is just genius. Gonna toot my own horn there. All right, I think Uncle Trivia, though, he's over there sleeping. I gotta wake him up. Hold on. Let me bring him on. Hi, Uncle Doug.
Hello, you got me.
You snoring?
I did a little drool coming down the side of my cheek. Had to get a napkin and wipe it up, you know.
All right. For our first trivia, we're gonna do the ceramic pack. I'm not celebrating anything, Peggy. I think my screen just saw me do something. Kind of like sometimes when I, give you guys a thumbs up, it'll make a thumbs up comes up on the screen. Something I did made the balloons pop up. So,
Celebrating life. It's a good day. It's a sunny day outside.
yes.
Spring is approaching.
Hi, Janet. It's good to see you. All right. You have a trivia for us.
So are we ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here's our question. First trivia question for the day. Who was Saturday Night Live's first celebrity host? Who was Saturday Night Live's first celebrity host?
I don't know.
Let's see if anybody can get that. Some of us were, yes, alive at that time.
Do you still okay? Cheryl, we don't sell the vinyl. You can only get the vinyl in the necklace bracelet kit this time around. I know it's a simple thing, but using the compass is an awesome idea, right? I was like, Kieran, I need something to make a circle. I'm having troubles here. I got one of these old things. I don't care if it's from 10,000 BC, I'll take it.
It looks like we have a YouTube winner,
Oh, yeah?
Lucine. Lucine got it. The hippy dippy weatherman.
Good job, Lucine.
George Carlin.
Amazing. So she gets this super cute ceramic pack. And then you can wrap filigree around these. You can glue bales on them. These ones would actually probably fit in an F20. These little round ones, which would be a stunning earring pair like as a connector. Love it. Remember to claim your trivias and or the Big Loot giveaway. You must have an open order with us on vintagelifeshop.com to claim it.
And it goes to the first one that we see in our feed that answered correctly.
Yes. Good job, Lucine. And then Uncle Doug's got a doodle here. Let me make him bigger.
It does. It's good about just about got it ready here too. We ready?
There's a song that mentions Drew Barrymore. What the heck is it? Oh, 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 oh. You should have saved that drawing for me.
This one?
Yeah, that's so cute. I love bees and
Yeah.
beehives and honeycomb. I don't like eating honey, but I love everything else about bees.
I love honey. Like I said, I was thinking about keeping bees, but I don't know. Maybe I'll wait till I'm a little bit older when they don't sting as bad.
Yeah. All right. I guess we will see you when you get over here, and then we're gonna move on to some of our other pieces.
All right, I'll be right over.
Okay, bye. Okay, dokie. Good job, Lucine. And your doodle, I am so jealous of you. So jealous. Uncle Doug drew me a. So there's this thing between my best friend and I. We call each other Pineapple Pumpkin Princess because I'm allergic to pineapple. And when we first met, I called her Pumpkin. And yeah, Pumpkin. Um, and then Uncle Doug drew me a pineapple pumpkin princess thing over. I have it stuck up on my whiteboard. Okay, did you draw that or did Aunt Nancy draw that? You drew that? Okay, Peggy. Uncle Doug said it. He did. Peggy goes, Aunt Nancy drew that doodle. All right. Yeah, you better be careful. No, we'll throw in like 10 of those copper owls. Oh, goodness. All right. You're going to be famous, Lisa said. Yup. All right. I know you guys are pumped about these umbrellas, so we will pop those up on the screen next, and then I'll also pop this kit up as well. Which, guess what? Yet again, comes with everything you need to make it. Chain, beels, everything, findings, you name it. And this is that blue toned one that I was talking about earlier. So cart 107 will be for the bracelet and earrings kit. So you'll want to grab this. This is the other rivet piece that we're going to be doing some fun stuff with. I think you guys are going to love it. I know Lisa loves it. She commented on one of the photos that I had seen. I think it was last night. I think I showed Ian too. I was like, look, these ladies love what I do. He just giggled. Um, oh, by the way, for lunch today, you're so lucky. You're so lucky I'm not teaching an in-person class because Ian made tacos and then I brought onions and cilantro to work. So it was really good. I had a nice fat taco before the live today. So that might be why I'm a little more energetic. Because I also have my Aunt Nancy found some, I think it looks like mandarin orange and lime Mountain Dew. Oop, gotta go this way. It's actually pretty dang good. You guys will have to give it a try. Because we just love our drinks over here, and we probably get a different Mountain Dew flavor like every month. I love it. Sometimes we'll have like a berry flavor, or we'll have like the lime and the mandarin. And then there's been a few other ones that are just so good. But we do definitely need that caffeine once in a while, especially when we're just plucking away. All right, so the umbrellas we'll probably start with first, and then we'll move over to this piece, which is gonna go pretty dang quick. At least the umbrellas are, because there's just a lot of simple connections and then some hammering. But you guys are gonna love, 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 love these blanks. They're so so cute. And I did want to tell you a couple other things that you could potentially do with them. So cart 108, the natural brass umbrella blank, 22 pieces for $22. You're getting them for $1 a piece. You can't get anything for $1 a piece anymore unless you're shopping here. I mean, so serious. But aren't those adorable? And then could you imagine just cutting off this and making like little rain clouds or something? Just super cute. Thanks, Peggy. I try and stay as energetic as I can because I know it's a lot more fun watching somebody with quite just no energy. All right. We need to bring out our steel bench block and our rubber tapping block. I'm going to stick one of our umbrellas up there. By the way, I know you guys have been waiting, but these hammers, I wish that my view would stop freezing. These hammers, the tiny ones, I have on order, and within the next couple weeks, we should be adding them to the site. And don't worry, Aunt Jean and Ainsley, I did order a couple more so we could send some of these out to you. But these are super great, and I love it when you want something just a little like a tinier hammer mark versus the big thick one. So this is the difference between the hammers here. I did want to show you this because it's a pretty big difference. And then you guys are going to be super excited for this tiny hammer. So these will be the 3 hammer sizes that you will be able to get from us eventually. These are the 2 that you can get right now. We will be adding this one within the next couple weeks once that comes in. And this is the top view. So it's good to have a couple different hammer sizes, especially when you're working with so many different sized pieces. But we're going to use the tiny one for this one. We're going to go in and hammer, 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 hammer. And this is Peggy's favorite time. And you know what's funny is that when I was rewatching the last live that I did, using the AirPods, I noticed that the hammer sound, that my AirPods actually made the hammer sound a lot lighter. So you'll have to tell me if I was just like hearing things or if I didn't have my sound all the way up, but I think it's not as loud as what it originally was when I wasn't using my AirPods. But it's nice because my AirPods are noise canceling. Thanks to Ian, because he got me those for Christmas one year, and they were amazing for snowboarding because you just stick them in your face mask and just click one here and click the other. Cute. All right, so that is our nice hammered umbrella. Actually, I'm gonna put this way so you guys can see those still. You guys can see all those hammer marks when I kind of reflect it. That's why the relief block is so important, because we want to make that really pop like these up there. So what I'm going to do before I take the relief block to it is I'm going to bend the portions that I want the block to touch up a little bit more than some of the other parts. It's just easier to get everything that way. And they're so cute even when they're not hammered, but once you hammer them, oh my goodness. Oh, that sounds like a headache, Cindy. I hate doing things on the phone, calling, anything with especially appointments. Can my mom still do it for me? Even though she's in Virginia? Like, hey mom, can you make a doctor's appointment for me? Oh. All right, really scuffing this up to bring out that detail. That's looking good. All right. I'll pull my bench block over here a little bit. What a difference. What a difference that makes. Before, after. Isn't that crazy? All right. So up at the top here, I have the shepherd hook ear wires. Let me just double check on these two, because I know I for sure have gold and silver. But I know I have solid brass on hand. I just don't know if I have it listed. I do. Amazing. Okay. So if you type in ER011 or ERV011 or ERO or 011 dash 040 or dash 340, that listing will pop up in the Vintage Live Shop for you. So you can get it in 3 different plating colors if you want gold, silver, and or two different plating colors, and then solid brass, because I use the solid brass ones in the last kit that we'll do, and they're just so nice to work with. So you'll grab two of those, you'll attach that right at the top. I'm just going to take this solid brass one here that I have on hand because I don't think I have another silver one. Oh, I do. Let me grab that. I'll do the silver. I'm gonna open up our jump ring. It's not a jump ring, it's part of our ear wire, but it acts as if a jump ring. You open and close it the same way you would a jump ring. Okay. So we are attached. Then you need to make some hole punches. And for these hole punches, you can put, to make it easier on yourselves, I would do your hole punches on one piece and then put your other piece behind it and then follow those same hole punches so they're even. So we're going to punch one on each of these little scalloped edges. Hole punch is an amazing tool because it allows you to hang things in so many different ways or to hang other things off. See if I can get that out of there. Also, I took that cracked screen or the cracked camera protector off, so the quality looks to be a lot better this time around too. So I have 4 hole punches, one in each of the little divots there. And then for this last hole punch, I punched it down here because I wanted to still be able to see the little umbrella thing. So we're going to take our hole punch here. This is the middle, this little line here. So I follow the middle with my hole punch down to where I can't go any farther without going off the piece, and then I punch to make sure that my hole punch is center with this top loop up here. Any luck finding a 1mm hole punch? No, but if you find one, I'll buy it. I need one so badly, Peggy. There's so many different things that I've been wanting to punch that have just been too small for the punches that we have. But if you find one, let me know. And I need to do a little bit of R&D on that. So I'll take a peek here in a bit. But do know that that's on my mind. Thanks for the reminder. All right. These little beads here, these light sapphire beads, are coming in the kit. So let's pop that back up. Bracelet and earring kit 107. As well as the HPF 15s. So the HPF 15, we are going to discontinue and only reorder the HPF 25. So it's the same thing, just a little bit longer, which I actually think I need to reorder those maybe this week. So you'll get the HPF 15s with this, and then you'll get what, 20 ones in there. So for a little bead wrap, we're going to do a wrapped loop. I'm going to stick this head pin up through the bottom. I'm going to take my round nose pliers. I want a decent sized loop like that. It's looking pretty good. Maybe down just a little bit because this is a thinner wire. All right. So I pulled it around and then back over. Like this. And then I'm going to take the tail end with my chain nose and continue wrapping it around to accomplish that wrapped loop look. Clip off whatever's extra. And then tuck. Find it's easiest to tuck with my chain nose, because I don't necessarily want to see that little end there. That looks great. So there's our little wrapped loop with our tucked tail. And this is the side that I would hang it on. So I'm going to make my loop a little more straight. Looks great. For the chain here, that CH124-040, I do have the coin chain available for purchase too, both in a spool and a pack, either gold plated or silver plated. Cart 109, so you can choose whatever variant you want for that. But for the coin chain, it's important to note something here. So we're going to take the rule of thumb for this. What I used is 3 coins, and I wanted to leave an extra link below where the coin is soldered on. So I'm going to clip some of that extra chain off on one side. And then I'll do that on the other side. So this is my 3rd coin, and I'm going to go down a link from the link that's soldered. Then you're going to take your bead awl. It's important. And you're going to stick that through your little chain there. You can do this with your nails, or you can do it with your chain nose. Extend that hole just a little bit on either side so you can fit your JR10 through there. So the chain nose is to kind of save your fingers and your nail. Oops. And then we'll grab our JR10. And stick that through. Attach our wrapped loop bead. We're going to close that up. And then you take another JR10. Open that up, and then you're going to attach the top of that chain to your umbrella. And I thought that this chain and these little blue drops kind of made it look like it was raining. You could probably even, you could paint your coin chain blue, or the little coins on the chain blue if you wanted. And then you just repeat that. And then on the center one where it's coming down from your umbrella hook, I only used 2 coins instead of 3 coins. No sound. Can you not hear me? My sound's working on my side. Maybe your sound is turned down, Lynn. You scared me. Like, I did not just go through that whole demo with no sound. Oh, you guys have a 1.25 millimeter hole punch? Yeah, I think I need something just a little bit smaller than that. All right. So that's to complete the umbrella earrings. Is Uncle Doug ready for another trivia? Okay, let's get him up. Welcome back. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
All righty, what's up?
We're going to do another trivia.
What's up for sure?
An enameled pack. This one is Batman themed.
Yeah, nice.
we go. Isn't that just adorable? A little Batman themed,
Batman
camo
too?
themed. Huh?
Looks good.
I agree.
All right, if I can pronounce this right, it'll be a miracle. So I will definitely be pasting these in. Magirocophobia is the fear of what? I might be pronouncing it wrong, so take that into account. Magirocophobia is the fear of what? You ladies will have to use this with your families when the time is right. It's always good to have a fear in the hopper when someone asks you to do something. Have you heard of it, Corey?
What's that? I'm reading the comments, sorry.
Okay. I said, have you heard of this?
No, I have not.
I guess the copy and paste is going to be the operative one here. Whoever can copy and paste it in Google the fastest will likely win this one.
Ooh, I just whacked my knee against the table.
Oh,
Oh man, the worst is catching your hip on one of those wooden corners going around the tables.
oh man, we have a hook chest at the bottom of the foot of the bed. Plus, I have an arts and crafts bed with a
Mm.
pointy foot corner, so you walk around it and smack your thigh in all the time. Oh, I like to wear shoes around the house because of toe stubbing.
Sure.
I'm not a fan of stubbing my toes. So.
Looks like we have a few answers popping in on
Yeah,
Facebook.
see, I can't. I'm not. You're gonna have to read them off because I
Is it
can't find.
cooking?
Oh, here it is. Okay, let's see who got it first. There's several respondents with the right answer, and it looks like the first one is Sherry. Sherry Dedor.
Good job, Sherry. So Sherry gets the Batman themed enamel packs, which I think you're gonna have a lot of fun with these. You could do there's three of these bat circles. You could do an earring and necklace, or an earring and bracelet combo with those for our Batman lovers. Good job. I'll see what Uncle Doug has for your doodle.
Well, this one isn't quite so fantastic because I got a complex from Peggy there. And I also
Okay.
noticed that I was writing Sherry's name wrong, so she has a combination of possibilities on, on her name. Can you see it okay?
It's a sun.
Just the sun just shining here for us. And sorry about your name there. Kind of mess that up. I know a lot of Sherry's with a Y, and so the IE kind of got me until I looked back. Sorry, but you got a nice little gift though to go with little plate.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna knock Uncle Doug off and he'll come pick up your giveaway. Doink. Amazing. Good job, Sherry. Um, Rosie says she can't stay on. She's at a doctor's appointment, so you'll have to watch the replay, girl. Because this one is fun. I mean, they're all fun, but this one we work with vinyl. Or we did it in the beginning. But I'm really excited for this piece because we're gonna do some cutting and metal shaping. I think you're really gonna love it. But we just finished up with the umbrella earrings. Aren't those just adorable? But I think I'm ready to get into that bracelet now, which I think you guys are gonna have a lot of fun with. And you're going to be able to use this technique with a lot of different open work components. So we will move these up here a little bit, kind of together. Take this one out of here. We're going to focus on this bracelet. So I'm going to pop up the bracelet and earring kit again. Everything for this bracelet and those earrings comes in this kit for $39. Chain, blanks, crystals, beads, head pins, eye pins, clasps, jump rings, all of it. All of it comes in this kit. Cart 107. Just goes to show that Aunt Nancy did the other doodle, Peggy. You are hilarious. Uncle Doug shaking his head. That's so funny. All right, you're gonna need some art metal blanks. I'm gonna bring up that bulk pack. These are perfect for this piece specifically. Art metal blank pack, 24 pieces for $20. Cart 110. This is the 4-hole rectangle plate blank. So these are art metal. I do love the black color, and it. I know. Here you go. The paints and metallics and everything show up super, super well and contrast very well with the paint line that we carry. So you're going to need some of those blanks. You're also going to need the Nouveau Leaf Art Heart Pack. And you'll get 14 pieces for $20, cart 111, which also is a stunning. And I have used this one other time, so you can view that inspiration. It's kind of like this, but it is a bit different. I think we made a choker out of it maybe last year, but like early last year. So you need one of those, one of the plates. We'll bring that back out. And then an F20 for your wibbly. And then your chain, your jump rings, and your clasp. It's pretty simple, but it's a little bit of work, but I think you guys will like it. So this is what I mean with it being open work and then it turning into not open work. So it's got that closed back now, which it's so pretty when it's on. And then could you imagine this? Just like, let's say that this chain was a little bit longer into a necklace. So stunning. All right, let's dig in. So we're going to take these 2 rivet prongs on either side, and we're going to stick those through the 2 holes in the rectangle plate. And then I'm going to take these rivet pieces here, and we're going to squish those down with our chain nose pliers on both sides. And what I loved about this is that this bottom part here is left open to hang something on the bottom, which I just thought was perfect to hang that Swarovski Rivoli from. So you're going to start there, and then you're going to take your shears, these big brown handle metal cutting shears, these ones. I wish that view would stop pausing. Here we go. Maybe Jean can drop the link in the comments there for the big shears. And we're going to cut around this. And your little rivet tabs back here are keeping it like in the perfect space to be able to come around and cut around this. So we're going to start on an edge. Beautiful. And don't worry, we'll come in and we'll clean up these edges. So just get nice and close. Don't cut your heart, but just get nice and as close as you can to the shape of your heart. And just be careful. I recommend not letting these little pieces shoot off into the abyss because I have accidentally stepped on them before. Thank goodness, I wear shoes in this building because I couldn't tell you how many times I've had rivets or sharp things get stuck to the bottom of my shoe. I was like, well, that could have went into my foot and that would not be good. Make sure you're up to date on your tetanus. I'm going to say it before Peggy does. But I mean, these pieces get like, look at that. So sharp. No thanks. I don't want that cutting into me. And keep following the heart all the way around. And these shears are great for this. Could you imagine trying to like chop this up with the flush cutters? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That's why we have so many different tools to work for so many different techniques. I mean, that's looking pretty good. I might need just a little bit more out of this. See if I can get a little bit closer. But I know I'm going to be able to file that off regardless. So I think I'm going to come in with my flush cutters here, get that little tab off. Be careful because some of this will be sharp until you file it down. So just be mindful as you're handling your piece. And then I suggest putting these in a bag and then dropping them into a container that you can throw away because you don't want your garbage guy or garbage woman to get stabbed by these pieces either. So just be mindful when you're working and throwing away super sharp pieces. And you're going to come in and you're going to follow the shape of your heart with your vintage file. And I also do have a few of the other out of stock tools on order. Two of the tools I know for sure were on back order for a while, so I'm really hoping that those are off back order now. But we should have some good tool stock here coming soon. And that little hammer is going to be one of those tools that's coming in. Very excited for that. And then there's a few components that I'm also working on getting back in stock on the website as well. Also, I wanted to give you guys a little status. Our new supplier for our ear wires was on vacation for a month. So they are going to be coming soon, I hope. But just know that they do have the wire that is specific to our ear wires, and those will be handled here very soon. I know you guys have been waiting. I've been waiting. I'm like, Uncle Doug, do we have a status on those yet? Uncle Doug, give me a status on the ear wires. Do you know about these yet? He's probably sick of me asking. But so you guys don't email me asking, I'm letting you know here. Of course, Peggy. They are not all back in stock yet, but we are working on them. I think I found a couple ER0002s that I put in stock on retail. I don't know if those will sold out already or not. But I found like a little miscellaneous bag of them, so I put those back in stock for a little bit. But just know that if I do come across any, you guys will be the first people to know. I've been trying really hard to take some of these misc packages and sorting them out so we're able to put some of these other items back in stock. And if there's something that you guys have that you want custom ordered or something that Vintage used to carry that we don't carry anymore, let me know. I've had several ladies message me and I have been able to find a lot of different items that we don't have listed. And if I haven't been able to find them, I do order them custom as well. So if you're interested, shoot me an email, warehouse@vintage.com, and we'll get you taken care of. Or if you need like help identifying a piece, let me know. I'm very, very good about doing that. All right. So I glide my fingers around the heart to make sure that, I'm not going to get, stuck with anything. Whoever ends up with this piece isn't going to get stuck with anything. But it seems pretty good. I mean, I'm using my fingers all over it. That looks gorgeous. You see how these little tabs stayed there? And it was enough for me to go around and file everything without it moving. It worked out super well for that. Now you're going to need this hole punch. You're going to need your screw down hole punch for this piece. Your normal hole punch will not work for this. You will want your screw down hole punch. And I'm going to use the smaller of the two, but I think, oh no, yeah, those are two different sizes. One of my other screw down hole punches only has one of these things in it. But we're gonna punch it right up here, like right in between these two lines in the flower. That's better view. And if you want, here, let me do this. So I'm gonna make my placeholders with this hole punch. It's not going to go all the way through, but at least I have a mark. It's a little bit hard to tell when your piece is in the hole punch, in the screw down hole punch. So I'm going to make a mark, but this is really hard for you to hole punch. So I'm going to pull it over this way and kind of use a little bit of leverage. Oh, well, that one actually worked. The other one didn't. So your normal hole punch will work for this if you use force against the chair. Otherwise, it's a lot easier. Like if you don't have super strong hands or, something like that, then you can most definitely just use the screw down. But since this is going to work, I'm going to, okay, maybe this side's not going to work. Okay. Do the screw down hole punch, please. The one worked, the one side worked with it, but then the other side didn't. But now I have my placeholder for my screw down hole punch. And I'm going to use the smaller of the two. There's two different sizes. We're going to go up so I can stick my piece in. And then we're going to screw back down into that hole. Okay, but I need to, hold on. The screw down hole punch is so hard to use sometimes because if you're marking your holes, and even if you don't have your holes marked, it's really hard to see sometimes where exactly your screw is going on your piece. So I'm going to hold it up here so I can see that it's going into the right hole there. All right. And then I'm going to screw this in. Of course, Janet. Oh yeah, Diane, email me, girl. I got you. I got you. Don't you worry. There's, some of the things I'm gonna have to tell you no because either the supplier's closed or they don't offer said thing anymore. But that's not gonna be as often as me telling you yes. I don't like telling you guys no. So if there's any way that I can make something happen for you, You best believe that's what I'm going to do. So now you have your two holes here. What I did on the back of mine is where the holes hit the rivet is where I clipped. So I'm going to pull up some of this rivet here and clip, and pull up just a little bit of this rivet. So what's cool about the hole punch here is that it actually kind of squished my rivet into my holes and kind of like mushed that metal together. Beautiful. Beautiful. And then if you want, glide it with your fingers, see if it's going to catch. If it's going to catch, take your file to the back here, smooth her out. And then if you want, you can always paint the back of this too to match whatever you paint on the front. Gorgeous. That's one piece now. We're going to paint. So I used metallic blue and metallic aqua in the antique line for this piece. So the metallic aqua was on the outside area, and then the metallic blue was on the inside. I'm going to do a different color combination for this. We're going to do, what would be pretty? Maybe verdigris and, ooh, I feel like this would be pretty. I'm going to do verdigris and, or verdigris blue and amber yellow. I'm just gonna try this. I like to do a few different color combinations when I'm working with the paints because you guys already know what this looks like. And if I tell you what colors are where, it's pretty self-explanatory. And then I can experiment a little bit more and kind of show you guys another combination. So I'm gonna put a little bit of verdigris blue in my paint palette. I'm gonna put a little bit of the amber yellow in my paint palette for this other paint combo. And then I'm gonna grab one of the, maybe not that one of the artist brushes. The artist brushes, they're the thinner of the bristle brushes, which are really great for detail painting, especially when you're dealing with super small pieces like this. So I'm going to start with my amber yellow. That's going to be my bordering color, and then I'm going to bring the verdigris blue into the flower portion. I'm just going to drag this along, which these look great over the art metal. And I think I do have a couple examples of this painted a couple different ways as well on vintageliveshop.com. Yeah. Gorgeous. And we're going to do the little parts that go up to the flowers. These detail artist brushes, though, are so nice when you're painting things that are super tiny like that. All right, I'm digging the yellow. I might do another coat of that. We'll see. And then I'm going to add this verdigris blue. I'm going to grab a little bit more of that into these floral portions. Oh, I like it. I like it. So I'm going to do this, and then I'll probably top it with an iridescent. Since I did metallics on this one isn't done with metallics, but if you put a little bit of an iridescent color over it, it'll make it look more metallic. That's looking pretty good. Let me grab my heat gun. Okay. If you punched through the flower before adding the blank, you would be able to use the normal punch to go through the blank. Yeah, I would think so. If you wanted to do it that way. I think the part that makes the blank or makes it hard to punch isn't necessarily the blank um or the flower. I think it's more of the rivet behind the hole punch. And I'll show you here in a minute what I'm talking about. I think I'll add another coat of this amber yellow so it's a little more opaque. Otherwise, if you use what I think is it like Yellowstone, um, just a normal paint, that would work. But I think the hard part for it to go through the rest of the way is the rivet because that does go right where your hole punch is. Um, Otherwise, but like you said, you might be able to just pre-punch those and then lay it over the plate. So then your hole punch only has to go through the blank and the little rivet tab. All right, let me wash this because I still have the verdigris blue color on there. I'm gonna add a little bit more of this yellow. And then we'll get moving. Hopefully I did that on screen. I just saw my piece was way over here for a second. I think that might be because I pulled it to show you guys. Yeah, I think just a little bit more of that yellow really makes that yellow pop. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And then you do your little F20 wrap. You're going to fold up your 3 prongs, leave one open, and then set your Rivoli in there. I was hoping maybe I had another Rivoli color, but just pretend that this is yellow, like the John Quill color. Let me put that there. Oh, strange, Sari. You like those colors? Let me pop this up a little bit more for you. The yellow and the verdigris blue. You can even do it opposite. You could do like the verdigris blue around the border and then the yellow on the inside. Then you attach your jump rings that come in. I used jump rings that I have like a little sampling of that you will get in the kit, but I do not have this jump ring specifically listed anywhere in bulk. And you're gonna get some CH0012 chain. I think that retails for like $9.50 a piece or $9.50 a foot. Into a JR, whatever that is. It's an oval. It's like an oval. It's like a JR40 but oval thickness, if that makes sense. And then your CL0003 at that end, and then your oval jump ring to your CH0012 chain into another oval jump ring, and that completes that bracelet. All right. If I do trivia now and do a trivia after those earrings, and then we'll do the big loot giveaway. Okay. Are you ready for a trivia, Uncle Doug? Let me get him up here.
Got so bad. I would never want to go
Hello,
back.
Uncle Doug.
Tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're able to help people live like kings and we're not.
Can you hear me, Uncle Doug? You ready for a trivia? Okay. You ready for a trivia?
Will be.
Okay.
I've got a question here. What do you got?
We're going to be doing another enameled pack. This is going to be striped enameled. Oh, this gorgeous baby.
Oh yeah, those are pretty nice.
Yeah. And then you got a little hockey.
You're digging. You're digging deep. Where do you find some of these things?
Just
That's I'm not
miscellaneous.
telling. Is that I'm not telling people?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
All right. Trivia, trivia, trivia.
All right, here's the question.
Okay.
Which band wrote songs that also served as theme songs for CSI, CSI New York, and CSI Miami?
Bye, Stephanie. Have a great day. A verdigris Rivoli would be cute too, Lynn. Lucine,
There's a
with this
trivia
color in the
question.
heart.
Which band wrote songs that also served as theme songs for various CSI shows? There's
With a
Monica Thompson
turquoise
lurking out there
caption.
somewhere. She's our music guru.
Okay. So, Lucine, you said with a turquoise cab for that. Well, you know what I just found? Though you might want one a little bit smaller while we're getting some answers for this trivia. Like that. Little turquoise.
Lynn Goodwin.
Good job, Lynn.
Lynn Goodwin. The answer is The Who.
Good job. Is this what you were talking about, Lucine? With like a turquoise cab and then it like dropped below? Maybe if it was a little bit smaller, but I think that looks great, especially if you were to do that for a necklace. That'd be super cute. Or you could hang like one of these suckers from it. It's like a gold green. Maybe if I lightened up the yellow a little bit to be more gold toned. Ooh, you could brush some iridescent gold over that and then it would match like the gold flake with that. That's pretty neat. Good idea, girl. All right. Do we have a doodle
We do.
for Lynn?
We're just getting warmed up on Doodles too.
Ooh,
Just
what you
getting
got?
warmed up here. There's Lynn's.
Here, let me make you just a little bit bigger here.
In the garden bear.
Oh, nice.
Okay, Peggy, is that all right? All right.
Mound of, is that dirt with a shovel on top?
That's dirt. Preparing that garden.
Cute.
Work in the garden. I couldn't draw a person. You know, I have to be a sick person. So, all right, thank me.
All right. Bye, Uncle Doug. I can find anything. Anything you need, I can find. Probably. Maybe. I have this really big. It's super nice to have something like this. Just miscellaneous beads, one-offs. Maybe like there might be like a couple that are duplicates in there, but if I'm looking for one-off things, typically I just rummage through here and then find whatever color pops out or that works. So like turquoise, I was looking at all the turquoise things that I have in there. So good. I'm glad I could find that for you to kind of lay it out because I do love doing that for you guys. All right, we're going to move on to these cute earrings, and then we will finish off with this big honker of a necklace, which I will probably be taking these earrings home with me too, because they're so cute. Okay, guess what? This one also comes in a kit. We are going to pop up the necklace and earrings kit, 28 pieces for $59. This retails for over $105. So, you're getting another really great deal. This is the only kit that you can get this cabochon in. You can get this big dragonfly in that crystal pack that's available. You can only get the dragonflies in the kit. Those aren't offered in bulk. But I think everything else has a bulk option. I'm thinking. But you guys can tell that I did the green gold for this one, like the blue silver for the other one, and then the first one was that like copper toned. So I'm trying to match colors and get cutesy things together for you guys to keep it rolling good. We're gonna start off with these leaves. Cute. Could you even believe that you are getting these pre-painted? So they're going to come pre-painted in the kit, and they're also going to come pre-painted in the bulk pack. 6 pieces for $21, cart 113, and they do all have links on them. So those are already pre-linked. Otherwise, you can switch out the jump rings like I did for here for those ones. But super duper cute. One less step for you guys. And then if you want, if some come like a little more thick on the paint, just take your relief block and just go over it a little bit. And then it's gonna shine it up. Not only gonna shine it up, but bring out a little bit more of the detail in that leaf. So yeah, just take your relief block to them if they come a little thick with paint. But I think those look stunning. I'm happy that we're able to offer these to you pre-painted. And if you want to change the color, brush some iridescent over it or just add a different layer of paint on top of it. Because you can most definitely do that as well. But I think they're stunning as is. You're also going to need some of these. These are DR20. Yeah, I think these are DR20s. The ring pack. These are DR20s, the Eternal Floral Ring pack. These retail for $8 a piece. So 5 pieces for $20 is a steal. So make sure you grab this pack. So you'll notice that open work items are a little more expensive because their tooling is even harder to maintain. So they come a bit more expensive to us, but those are stunning as is. Love them. And then if you wanted, you could add a little bit of that, like, what colors did we use in here? I believe this was our old paint line. So I would say this is probably pretty close to turquoise and green opal is what I'm thinking was the color combo for these. So if you wanted to, you could do some turquoise and green opal in this little floral pattern that goes around the rings there. You're going to get some of those solid brass shepherd hook ear wires that I was chatting about earlier. Otherwise, you can buy a bulk pack of them. But also, a big fan of these. And what I'm going to do here is from the start, I'm going to take my loop and I'm going to shift it so it lays like this instead. Because I had to, this loop on the ear wire was not big enough to go around the loop on, or to go around the ring. So that's why we attached the jump ring and then adjusted the angle of that loop so it would hang appropriately. You're going to need your little dragonflies. These also come in the kit. Our dragon bees, our dragonfly bees. And then your little flat backs. I'm just gonna grab one from here because they're the tiny ones because they're the ones that fit. And then some tiny jump rings. All right, I'm gonna pull our necklace up here so we can focus on these earrings. I'm just gonna bring one of each of these components out so we can go through that and not take up too much space on our work table here. So I'm going to come in and the first thing I'm going to do is unlink this leaf. So I'm going to take this link out. So we have just our normal hole. And then I'm going to take my dragon bee, and I'm right where I would normally put a chaton is where I'm going to punch my hole, right in the divot. Since this divot caves in, we're going to punch front to back this time and use that divot. You'll notice your piece will bend a little bit, but you can bend it back. So let's pull this. I find that sometimes I have to use my chain nose to help me get items off my hole punch. So I'll just wiggle it until it decides that it's ready to release. Because sometimes I actually really struggle with getting some of these pieces off the stinking hole punch. Happens more often than not, actually, for me. But what goes up must come down. And we're gonna get her out of this hole punch one way or another. All right, I'm gonna squish my little legs back to normal. Kind of bend my wings a little bit to normal. And then that is the perfect hole in our little bee there, our dragon bee. That is going to lay over your leaf, and you're going to use this hole in your leaf and the hole you just punched in your dragon bee, and you're going to rivet those two together using an RV040. That is a solid brass rivet. Let me grab one of those puppies from here. All right, and grab your bench block and your rubber block. Pull these up. I'm gonna put my bee down first. And you can do it either way. But I'm gonna hammer it this way because my leaf has a little bit of a curve to it. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of some of that curve. I'm just gonna bend this out a little bit here so it's a tiny bit easier to rivet. This needs to be a little more flat. Okay. Let's see if I can get her on here. If not, then I'll just use the bead awl, which I'm not gonna mess around with it for too long, and make that hole big enough for me to put my... Okay, bye, Sherry. Have a wonderful day. All right, we're gonna put this onto our little dragon bee. Oh, not take it back off. And just my dragon bee. And I'll adjust this after the fact too, because you can move it around just a little bit. Actually, here, I'm gonna do this the other way. Hold on. We're gonna do a little bit of a hammer here. I'm gonna do leaf first. I mean, it doesn't matter what side comes up because I'm gonna be covering that rivet with a flat back anyway, so we'll just do it this way. This might be easier for you guys anyhow. And I know you guys like the angled view, so I'm going to adjust that so you guys can see the rivet. I'm gonna use the rounded side of my hammer. I'm going slow because I have to keep my fingers pretty close to the rivet while I'm hammering, because I need to hold down my dragon bee. I'm going to practice saying dragon bee because I like that. And we're getting closer. I'm going to adjust it just a little bit because I want my my two little holes for his antennas here and here. There. I want to be able to still string jump rings through, so those need to stay open. Now that my piece is riveted down a bit more, I can move my fingers a little bit. And then if I need to move it and adjust it back to center, I'll move it with my pliers. I'm gonna hammer it from the back a little bit too. Make sure that we're getting nice and tight. There we go. Nice. All right, and then glue your little chaton. There's my silicone brush for my liquid Loctite. I just dab a little bit on there. That was perfect amount. Then I'll use tweezers to grab my chaton and lay it on there. Okay, where are my little babies? There we go. Ooh, good thing that did not land on my glue. Ooh, that would be cute where that just landed. If you put like little random chatons throughout the leaves or leaf. Stick there, please. Okay. I'm gonna scoot over just a hair. Good. And press down so it sticks. And then we're gonna take these tiny jump rings from the Tiny Jump Ring Sampler Pack. I believe they're JRV 86. And we're going to open that, slide through one antenna onto the DR20 Eternity Ring, close that jump ring, open it up and do the other one. So Lisa, you'll probably find this funny, but when I was photographing these, I forgot to re-photograph them. And when I posted the picture of this last night on my Jewelry by Corian page, I noticed that I used 2 larger jump rings on one and then 2 smaller jump rings on the other. So I switched them and then I forgot to retake the photo with the jump ring switched out. So one of the earrings has 2 larger jump rings and the other earring has the smaller jump rings. And I was like, oh my goodness, I totally forgot. I went through and I, fixed them. I'm actually I'll just string my ear wire on there. I fixed it and I was gonna rephotograph it and then I just forgot to rephotograph them. But we were chatting about it and we're like, it's funny because you only really notice that stuff when you see it in the pictures. All right, I'm gonna take this jump ring and string this onto my ear wire. Gorgeous. Close that. And you have a complete earring. Is a dragon bee a type? I've never heard of it, but I'm sort of terrified. Oh my goodness, Lisa. So, no, it's funny that you say that. Earlier, I called it a dragonfly because that's what Vintage has had it named for a very long time. Like on our super old labels and everything. So tiny dragonfly. And then some people were saying that they thought it looked like a bee, and then so we were calling it a dragon bee. When it resembled a sweat bee or dragonfly, but sweat bee isn't as appealing. Haha. I like dragon bee. I like dragon bee too. I'm trying to say it like more and more. Um, let's see if I missed any other comments. Zoom in and see all the minute boo-boos. Yes, seriously, Lisa. All right. So that completes those earrings. You could, if you wanted to, I know you guys have also seen me add resin to make the pendant look a little more wet. So if you wanted to, you could do that or do like a gloss glaze over the leaf there. I think would be very, very, very pretty. All right. So that's for that. Is Uncle Doug ready for a trivia? And we'll get to our last little necklace to do. And it's not little, it's big freaking necklace. All right. I'm gonna we're doing one more enameled pack. This is our bronze treasure. So there's some cute little ovals in there with a massive circle, which you could actually,
Didn't someone suggest making those football charms a couple weeks ago, or a few weeks ago?
Yeah, I think so. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that so that filigree that we wrapped would wrap over this super gorgeously. So whoever gets this, you need to get this filigree that we're showing today. All right, you ready for your question?
I think I am. Here's the
Okay.
question. His wife was Roxana. His horse was named Becelphus. Who was he?
Are you putting that one in the comments?
I am going to have to.
Oh, that's funny, Lisa. It's just the weird minds of the vintage fans, Peggy. Sweat bees are vicious. They bite. They don't even sting, they just bite. Okay, comment is up. His wife was Roxana. His horse was named. Well, I don't know.
And now that I see the name of the horse, it looks something Greek or Roman, but it says palace on the end. So I don't know what the BACE is, but there's something funny about the horse name. Now that I look at it, I'll have to look it up.
You had black hornets. We have yellow jackets at work here, and my little brother Kieran has gotten stung so bad that I'm not even kidding you, ladies. I'm gonna pop my head back up here. His ear was like this big, and then he got like another one. I think it was like close to his eye, where his eye was just like super swollen. Because he mows the lawn here, and out back there's like a bunch of trees, and we don't go back there very often. We brush cut every so often. We'll do like little trails through the field that we can go explore during the spring, summer, and fall, but he just got attacked last year.
Yeah, they're ground hornets. They're not very big either. They're really pretty small, but they have a vicious sting.
Yeah, and we told Aunt Nancy, we're like, we need to keep Benadryl at work here just in case.
You look like Quasimodo.
Yeah, seriously.
Come on, I thought our trivia was too easy already. This is like the first one that's maybe a little bit harder. Or
I
no. I'm enjoying the answers though.
I have no idea. We also have those really big, they're like ground bees where they burrow in the ground, but they're like this big. And if you set out a pop can in the summertime, at least like down where my other grandparents were, we did that and they would just fill the pop can. Like 5 of them would just fill the pop can. It was gross. But they were huge and scary.
So we still don't. Oh, there we go. Connie Benner.
Ooh, Connie
Way to go,
girl.
Connie.
Good job, Connie. Connie emailed me and she received the bracelet for one of her over $100 orders. So it's super fun that she's going to get this. And then maybe yeah. You want, actually, should I just I'll just wrap this quick. Let me just very quickly. I'm going to show you guys that you can use this same technique for a plethora of items. And then if you want, all you have to do is pull up the corners and switch it out with something else. If you want. So that way you get a little something something. Because I feel like this one was probably the most boring out of the batch. So I'm going to add a little bit of creativity.
I hope you can tell what this is. I had to get Nancy over here to draw it for me.
Okay, Peggy.
Can you tell what it is?
Oh, it's a robin nest.
Yay! And look at that.
Is
See
there is
Robin
that a
over
robin?
there?
Yeah, with his red belly. Good job.
Yeah.
That one's really
Look, he's
good.
looking for the worms for. Oh,
That's so funny. There you go,
congratulations,
Connie.
Connie.
Woohoo! All right, Uncle Doug, we'll see you when you get back over here. And then Uncle Doug will join us when we do the big loot giveaway after our next necklace. So there you go, Connie. Hand wrapped on the during the live, and then a cute little sampling of these little oval pieces. Super fun. Just well, it's not a bad thing necessarily. But that's fun. She'll get like a cute little wrapped piece, so then she can do something else with those little oval pieces. All right. Well, this honker is the last one we're going over today. Let me pop up the necklace and earrings kit again. So everything that you need to make these earrings and this necklace are included in this kit for $59. It retails for over $105. So I think it's like 106. I can't say for sure off the top of my head because I don't remember, but I know that it's over $105. So you're getting it for 59. That's a steal. Otherwise, get the bulk packs while you can. Okay. And we're gonna move those earrings back up here. I'm gonna kind of shift this stuff up there to give me a little more space, and then we'll bring out the components and then go through the bulk packs quick for this. So this lily frame is such a beautiful piece, but super expensive. We're giving you a great deal for it. 3 pieces for $24. Look at the size of this thing. I have used this how many times in all different ways. So view vintagelifeshop.com, but I have cut it here above the 2 loops and used this as this bottom piece as the center of a necklace. I've cut it on the other side, same thing. I've cut it like this, and so these would hang as earrings if you want to do 2 on either side. Same thing on this side. Cut here at the bottom, cut there at the top of the loop. There's another earring. You could do it this way with the 2 bottom loops on that side and make another necklace. There's so many different things you can do with this, and all those photos that I've done are in vintagelifeshop.com. So make sure you grab that. That's absolutely stunning. And there's so many different ways to utilize it, whether you're cutting or bending, wrapping, filling with resin. I know this has been used to do that as well. So you'll want to grab those if you haven't got the kit. And then you're going to need this massive filigree. I think I'm probably out of stock of the bulk pack. Before I bring that Carter up here, give me a sec, because there's not many of this left. I think I can only do 1 more bulk pack based on the kits. So I'm actually going to update that inventory from 2 to 1. So there will only be 1 of this filigree bulk pack left. Potentially. I think it's FO24. I just want to make sure I don't sell too many and then have enough for my kits, because I noticed a bunch of orders started coming in for the kits. So we're gonna make that so I don't have to refund somebody on that if I don't have it. So cart 116, $20 for 3 pieces. This is a gorgeous filigree. I don't have this listed anywhere except for the live shop and in the kits. So you'll want to grab this kit for sure, which is the backing piece of our lily pad there, which that's pretty as is too. You're going to get this cab in the kit, but if you wanted to add your own cab, I do have the settings listed in bulk packs as well. Cart 117. There are 2 different sizes of this, so make sure you're getting the right size. This is the smaller of the 2. The other setting pack is setting number 8, I believe, if you want the larger size, but this size fits this frame. So if you want to make this necklace, get this one, which is smaller than the other. So setting number 13 pack, 4 pieces for $24, cart 117. But that does come in the kit. You're also going to need that massive dragonfly. Comes in the kit, and it also comes in the crystal pack that is listed. Lots of facets. It's so beautiful. And it acts as a bead. You have that center hole. So I have 1 of those babies. You'll need a couple eyelets, which I'll bring those out. I think I use the bronze colored ones. The EYOO or EY005 eyelets. So put 2 of those up there. And then some CH0010 chain. The kit will come with the necklace pre-finished. So all you have to do is attach your pendant to the necklace, which is super nice. And then I think that's about it. What we need for this, you're also going to need one JR10. So I'll bring that out over here as well. So one of those small jump rings. And then we'll dive in. So let me pull up the kit pack again. And let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is set our cab. You can put that right in the center, and then you're going to fold those prongs over top. One of your kits might come with this pre-done, just depending on how many I sell and if I need to include this one in another kit. Because I know I'm pretty limited on this specific cab as well. Which I need to get the inside dimensions of these settings because I know Jean has been on the hunt for some new cabochons to use, and I need to give her the sizes of settings that we have so she knows if they'll fit or not. And I'll work on that soon. So be on the lookout for some really cute cab and setting packs coming. Just another thing to look forward to. All right. So that's set. We need to make a wrap loop out of 16 gauge wire. I use the art metal colored wire. I think we offer natural brass colored 16 gauge wire. We also offer it in just natural brass, I believe. So natural brass, solid brass, art metal colored, or natural brass colored. Yeah. There might be a copper option, but I'm not for sure on that. But there might be. All right, where did my little... I had a wire clipping set out. There it is. I know I did because I was telling Uncle Doug everything that I had for my... Okay, I have wire, and I have these tools, and I have my jump rings. Like, what else do I need? But I think I've been doing pretty good today about not having to get up, though I am using my AirPods, so you guys would still be able to hear me if I went to the other room, but yeah, no. All right, we're gonna straighten out some of the 16 gauge wire. Grab your round nose pliers. And let me get back so I can see the comments here. All right. I'm gonna come a decent amount down our 16 gauge wire. And I'm going to loop this down and around. I notice that I'm like at the very end because I want this to be a fairly big loop. So I'm going to pull that up as I'm going through. That looks pretty good. So this is what we're looking like. And then I'm going to take this tail end here and wrap it around for our wrapped loop. And you can do this however many times you want. 2, 3, 4. I think I'm gonna go with 3 because that's my favorite number. All right. I'm going to pull my loop back just a little bit and kind of kink it so it's a little more straight. And then I might actually wrap that just a little bit more, just using my chain nose to kind of cinch it around. Okay, I'm gonna clip off that tail with my cutters here. Take the chain nose and tuck the rest of that tail. That looks, I don't think I can tuck that anymore. That's pretty dang good. Okay. String your dragonfly through. And then, so typically, if you were to use like a head pin type action for this, it would flip around like that. So I wanted to avoid that. So I came up the back of the piece with my wire. All the way back to the front. Be very careful when handling your crystals. I'm gonna back this with cloth. I find that it's easiest to work with like that. So I'm not crimping directly on my crystal, but I'm using that as a backing here. I need like a little bit of a thinner action. Just a little bit more. All right, that's pretty good. So now it's not gonna flip all the way around. It's stuck there because the back is secure. And then we're gonna take this top loop here and we're gonna finish out some of that rounding. And I'm gonna take my chain nose here to hold it. And then I'm gonna take my other chain nose to wrap this other end around, but I'm gonna chop some of this because I don't need to be handling that much wire while I'm wrapping. It's a little bit hard to do it like that, so we're gonna get rid of that extra wire there. And then just pull from the little end we have left. I'm just gonna get it behind my little wing and my loop. Oop. I didn't have my wire all the way in my hand yet. Okay. That's pretty cinched. And I don't want to go too much farther because I don't want to see that tail from the front. I'm going to snap it probably back here. Then it looks as if the wire is a continuous, which it is, but it keeps the wire looking continuous. I might squeeze this one just a little bit more. Nice. So there's our wrapped crystal that it'll like shift a little bit, but not like twisting all the way around. Okay. Next, we're gonna find a spot for our, let's see where I hung this jump ring at. So wide, little, wide, little, wide, wide. Right below wide into this one, it looks like. All right, so clip your loop off your setting. file that sharp point. Good. I'm going to use that hole that was right under the loop for your JR10. This is going to help your setting stay in place. I'll open up that JR10, string it through the hole that was just below the loop that we cut off, and then little, I think that's just the normal big one. Yep. So I'm going to use this hole, I think, to wrap. So I'm going to string my JR10 first. Other side. Then my setting. And I'll close the two. But I feel as if this is not the right hole because it's not. The holes on this are a little tricky to get, and I might just use a larger jump ring here, but if I can just get it to thread, I know it works. Just don't know why it's being so difficult, and it's probably because the other side of my jump ring is okay. I need to get a new jump ring. I bent the crap out of that one, and no wonder why it wasn't going in the hole. Hopefully I remember what hole I used again. There it goes. That one was a lot easier because my jump ring wasn't misshapen. Beautiful. That was a little tedious for a JR10. Okay, well that's on. You're gonna have to extend these two holes, so I suggest just doing that right away. Using your beetle. I'm gonna push it out this way though, back to front. And then I'm going to attempt to put it over an eyelet because that'll tell me if I need to go a little bit bigger, which I do. That should probably work for an eyelet. That one does. And then you're going to do the bottom side, extend it with that beetle. See if that fits. Almost. And this piece is soft, so don't work it like too hard because you might break your loop, but just note that it's a little softer than some of our other natural brass pieces. And beautiful. That works. All right. So I have those adjusted. My setting's gonna hang here in the center. This is gonna go over top. Notice that the flowers are hitting a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in from the inside and pull them out a little bit, like lifting up the inside and pushing down the outside. Which is gonna give me enough space to put those on there as if they were wrapped. And I'm gonna bend down this top and bottom side here. And then you're gonna find your holes that you're gonna use for your rivet action or your eyelet action. So I'm gonna use, what holes did I use here? It's not too far up from this one. So I think I used this hole for one rivet. And then probably that hole for the other rivet. All right. Now that I have a little game plan here, I'm going to grab my bench block. And then my eyelets. So I'm going to put this down first. And if that doesn't fit, then I need to extend that hole in my filigree. Trying to make that big enough for an eyelet. I'm using the eyelets because I still want to string a jump ring through that area. And bend this one down a little bit more. I feel a sneeze coming. Go through. Give me my. See if I can slide this onto that eyelet. I know it works. I have to probably, I'm gonna flatten this out a little bit. I was like, where did that just fall to? All right, I might have to use that beetle again. We'll see. Do you love tedious work? Wouldn't be so bad, but sometimes when I use a bead awl and I get the size right, but then it's not working because one piece is a little bit thicker than the other piece, and then I have to hammer it, and then I have to re-put the stinking bead awl through. Yeah. Yep. I'm putting a lot of force on this top portion so I can get that eyelet over top. Gorgeous. This is okay if it moves around a little bit in there. And I'm going to take my bead awl, kind of stick that through a little bit. Make sure that I have a decent opening there for my jump ring to still go through. All right. Make sure that that's pretty centered in between the lily components. I'm going to shift this over just a little bit. I'm going to hammer this a little bit. We'll have to see if I need to use the beetle again. Okay, Corian, where'd that other eyelet go? Found it. All right. So I think is this one. It's going to be. I'm gonna shift this up just a tad. All right, let's see if I can get that over top. I don't think that one wants to go through. Let me do it together here. Well, if my bead all goes through like that, my eyelet should, oops, go through like that. Here's my eyelet. I'm gonna use my bead all inside my eyelet to move it around and get this pushed down over top of it. So now I'm sticking out enough to be able to hammer it. So I guess that is another tip and trick. So if you're having an issue or trouble with getting an eyelet through like 2 different spots, stick your bead all in there and wiggle it into the hole. All right, let me get this eyelet down. Oop. I'm gonna hammer a little bit on that side and a little bit on this side so I don't have to press as hard. Oh, no, stick back in there. I don't have to press as hard when I'm trying to get this eyelet hammer down. Did I just mess it? Don't tell me I just messed this up. Stay there. Don't move. Oh, I think I like just barely messed it up when I did that. It doesn't help doing this at an angle. Trust me, Ains girl, I know how you feel. Those angles can be just so hard to work from. I'm gonna I want to stick it through this way because then I can push some more out if I need to hammer a little bit more down. Okay. And I'm gonna make sure that my sides are pretty close together here. I'm just gonna go through and crimp some of these sides. Okay. I need to string some jump rings through this. I'm gonna extend that eyelet again, just nice and slow because I don't want to push the eyelet through all the way, but I need enough room to string a jump ring through that hole. I think I used JR40 for that, so I'm gonna pull one of those out here. And string your dragonfly on one side or the other side. I'm gonna do this opposite facing of the other one. And then the JR40 there at the top, which gets attached to your chain. There you go. If you want, you could add like a little bit of patina in there. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll Maybe I'll paint a little bit of that. Yeah, a little bit. Jean and I are on the hunt for some really good rivets. Like the open hole, closed hole, longer, shorter, whatever we work with, we're definitely on the hunt for that stuff. But that's crazy that we just made that. I'm thinking, let's see what green tones I have here. Maybe maybe some green opal and gold. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of green opal, which is pale green, I think, pale green, and metallic gold, which is also Victorian gold. All right, nope. I'll put a little bit of this in my paint palette here off to the side. A little metallic gold. I think I'm gonna do the flowers gold and then we'll use in that green opal color. Don't know how opaque this is gonna be. This is not something that I normally do. I mean, I love the colors together for sure, but don't normally use green opal. But I think it's very pretty either way. Give it like a gold green look to kind of match the center of the chaton or the cab. That one's not a chaton, it's a cab. And a little there, a little there, maybe a little bit on the leaves. Maybe some on like this part of the frame. You could do like a little bit of a darker green too. You could do like a moss. Moss would be really pretty. But I'm trying to bring out some of the undertones that are in here, and green opal looks to be one of them. At least pretty dang close. I'm gonna brush that off and then go in straight with the metallic gold. You do a mix between the two. You could put some metallic gold on that green. We'll bring a little bit down into those petals that are opening up. And a little gold to the other side. Yeah. Anyone else also sighing in symphony? Tell me you're sighing in a good way, Lisa. I'm gonna bring out a little bit of this olive green. I'm gonna mix that in a little bit here. Just in a very messy but fluid manner. Ting, 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 ting. Beautiful. Yeah, okay. Heat gun that. Where is it at? There it is. And then I'll give you a close-up here in a minute once I get some of this paint dried. I want to add a little bit more of that gold. I'm going to do it as my piece is drying. Okay. Ooh. Let me just make sure I don't have paint on my fingers when I lift this up for you. Still a little warm. Okay. That's painted, and maybe I'll take a picture of the painted version and get that also uploaded to the live shop so you guys can see what it looks like with both the paint and just the normal brass color here. Yeah, what do you guys think? Which one do you guys like more, or are you kind of just like it's what I'm looking for, like stuck in between? Which one you like more? Because I'm a big fan of just the natural metal, but I'm also a big fan of this painted. I could go either way. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other color combinations you could do, but I think the green and gold really tied it together because this Swarovski crystal is a golden shadow color, which brings out, or these gold tones kind of make you V down into the dragonfly, but then you also center and then go to the outsides with the like the green flake in that. I'll give you another close up. So the cab has a green and gold flake, and then we just took those tones and applied those to the outer lily piece. Amazing. Both are gorgeous. Thanks, Carlene. All right, I think I'm ready for the big loot giveaway. Peggy likes the painted version. We'll do the big loot giveaway, and then I'll show you what everything looks like on, and we'll get you out of here. Seems like we're pretty on time, so I'm liking that. Let me bring on Uncle Doug. Hello, Uncle Doug.
Hello.
Which one do you like more? Do you like the painted or the natural version?
You know what? For different reasons, I like them both. But I
Yeah.
do, I know I'm a sucker for olive green.
Oh, yeah. Chris said painted. Sally said painted. Painted with the crystal, without the crystal, not painted. So you would, I'm just gonna see what she said here. I'm just curious. You see.
Just fold it under.
Because it doesn't take me long to remove a jump ring. So normal without the crystal, painted with the crystal.
Yeah, I think the crystal complements the painted.
Yeah. Judy, I like the one on the right a bit more. Both are super pretty. Chris said painted. Vintage says she likes the contrast. Awesome. All right. So let's scoot these off to the side. Let's bring that big loot giveaway back on. You guys know the drill. Love react to the live demo for a chance to win this big loot giveaway. Must have an open order with us on vintageliveshop.com to claim. And then we will spin the wheel.
Throw a few YouTube folks over to you.
Okay. Let me get Teams open here.
I teamed them to you.
I need to get out all these old names. Bum bum bum. Upload. So I was thinking for YouTube, they should comment their first and last name if they want to be for like next time. I didn't say this time.
Yeah, yeah,
So they
that's not a
just
bad
comment
idea.
their first and last name, and if they don't, then they're not getting entered. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that way we know their actual name and it's not a hunt
The ones
for.
I have though are actual names of people who are commenting throughout the video.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna refresh this page. Let's see who we got here. Okay. We got our lovely Facebook ladies put in there, and then we'll get our lovely. Well, I shouldn't say just ladies because I know I've had some men watching. So both audiences from YouTube and Facebook will be in this wheel. Debbie Johnson, Lynn Valentino, and Kat. How do you say her last name?
I don't know if
Kosia?
I would try to put a Spanish, I'd be, but it's not Spanish because there's a K, right? It's got to be Coseja.
Yeah. All right, let's see if I have any duplicates here. Kat
She can
Leslie.
tell us. Kat, how do you pronounce your last name phonetically there?
Yes, I would
I'm looking
love
at
to
it over on
know.
YouTube.
Ooh, I don't want to open anything. We just need to go full screen. All right, I have all of our names listed in there. Just remember, you can only win once every 6 months.
Kosea.
Koseya?
Kosea. So the J is not really pronounced hard there. Kosea. Thank you, Kat. Hope you remember.
I like your name. Okay, you lovelies. You ready? 1, 2, 3. She's spinning. She's spinning. And then Uncle Doug will double check for whether you have won or not before. Janet. Has Janet claimed one recently?
I'm not seeing it. I think Janet's good to go. Wait, no, I see her February 4th.
So she won this month, so
Yeah.
she can't win
I
again.
wonder why it didn't find her though.
All right, we're going to spin
That's
again.
not good.
Here we go. Debbie Johnson. Is Debbie Johnson?
I don't think so. Let me just double check here.
Ooh, this could be a first for her.
Yeah, I think it is. Debbie's a winner.
Woohoo, Debbie Johnson. I'm going to keep your name up here for a minute. Hold on. And then we're going to, because you also get your little applause. But Debbie Johnson, you won the Big Loot giveaway this time around. These are super amazing to win because all of this product you're getting for free. We're shipping it to you in your orders. And look at, I mean, this was that filigree that I was talking about. We cut some of the sides off and made earrings like this out of them. So that's funny that this is in here. But there's so many different things you can make and sell and get more money to buy things at Vintage for by utilizing the Big Loot giveaways. Congratulations, Debbie. So glad that you're the winner. Does Uncle Doug have a doodle for you?
I do. Gotta explain this one a little bit.
Let's see it.
Let's see here. This is
A worm.
got the very concerned worm because his, his cousin just got pulled out of the ground by
That
Robin.
is so funny.
There we go,
It looks
Debbie.
like he's gonna eat the bird.
Yeah. No, it's perspective.
Sure.
The worm is closer to us, and the
Oh,
bird
that
is
makes
far away.
sense. Yes.
Alrighty, I'm gonna bring it on over.
Okay, coming back to me. Coming back to me. Everybody pray for Sherry. She's at the doctor still and she needs an MRI of her foot to rule out a bone infection in her big toe. And I bet you need your big toe to walk, girl. So many, many prayers. I will pray for you when I get home. And I'm sure Uncle Doug will also pray for you. Well, I forgot to mute his mic a little bit over there so we could hear him walking. We're thinking of you, Sherry. That thing's massive. All right. Here we go for our look. This shouldn't take very long, and then we'll ski-daddle out of here. Hello. Hello, my gorgeous souls. I'm gonna woo, take a ride down. Maybe I need to go up a little higher. Yeah. No, I only let one person or two people. I let two people touch my hair. Yeah. My mom and no, not even Allie. My hairdresser Claire in Dubuque. But I don't let any. I had one bad experience where the lady, I told her I wanted layers, and I remind you I already have layers. And also, if you guys want a picture, I'll send it to you. Oh no, she gave me layers, but my layers started here instead of by my shoulders. So it was the worst thing to try and grow out, but nobody else could touch my hair because of that. Okay. Uncle Doug's headed out. Sherry needs prayers.
Okay.
She might have a toe infection, like a bone toe infection.
Okay, sure.
She needs an MRI.
In our prayers.
And then our thoughts. Well, you have a wonderful weekend.
Also, Peggy and her daughter.
Yes. We're always thinking about Peggy.
Praying for you. For a favorable outcome.
Yes. That was
So,
very well worded.
yeah.
Very well worded. My words don't come that easily to me.
Take care.
All right. You have a great weekend, Uncle. Or, well, weekend. It's Wednesday. No. 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 Oh, yeah, I'll be in tomorrow. Oh, man, you can tell where my head's been at. Not here. Okay, so let me just prop this up a little bit because it was hanging a little low there. Actually, I'll just take this off. Hold on. See how weekend. Have a good Wednesday night. Okay, so this is that first necklace, that copper tone necklace that we demoed. I am seriously in love with the whale tail and how it hugs that JR116 jump ring. It's super amazing. I'll give you a little close up here. I mean, that's so stunning. And the way that the light hits that copper vinyl, woohoo, shiny, shiny. Big fan. Super cute. Been having a feeling that my AirPod's been wanting to just fall out of my ear. I'm trying to not make that be crazy. This is that our copper. I'm just gonna hold it instead of clasping it. Our stamped bracelet with our copper vinyl in there. Also very cute. I'll show it from this angle. Love, love, love. Love, 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 and love some more. Then we went to our blues blues part of the collection. I'm not gonna clasp. I made this one like the size of my wrist, so it's hard for me to clasp. It takes me a minute, but I'll just show you. Show you like this. This is that Nouveau Art Heart Rivet. Really come a little closer. Come a little closer. And then if you wanted to, as a necklace, that's really pretty. Here, I'll do this. So remember that bracelet trick? And just attach a finished bracelet to it here. Ooh, that way. So that's as a necklace. So this could be, last week we did the double the layered bracelet that could turn into a necklace. You could also do that with this. So the bracelet chain comes around the back and then that's out the front. And then if you wanted to, you just continue that wrap all the way around. Clasp it. And then you have your double bracelet stack. So right, or bracelet or a necklace. I freaking love this little hacky hack. It's so good. And blues and silvers, stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. I'm gonna put this in this ear because my AirPod is in my other ear. Ew. Here we go. These are those super cute, like stormy umbrella earrings. By the way, surprisingly light. I think all the earrings are under 6 grams today because I started weighing them and these ones surprised me the most. I think these were only like 4.5 grams. But yeah, I've been weighing them and if they're too heavy then I make some adjustments or I turn it into something else. So those are super cute. Big fan of these. These will be. I mean, these are coming home with me, not probably. They are. Those are just, they're so pretty, you guys. Doink, doink, doink. Perfect weight. Blues, coppers, and then greens. Because I showed you the bracelet, the earrings, bracelet, earrings, yeah. So I'll show you. So it depends on how you have your loop. On this one, I need to shift my loop a little bit more so my crystal lays a little more flat, like it did on this one. But I'll hold them up one on top of each other so you can see what they both look like. So this would be without the dragonfly crystal. So I just attached my, what I thought I had my clasp attached to, I didn't. Just gonna say I had my clasp attached to my chain, one of my chain links, so it can sit higher, and then you can like hang a little charm off that back and then let that hang down your back if you're wearing something that's an open back. This is without the crystal and no paint. Isn't that just so pretty, you guys? Oops, this way. So that's no paint, no crystal. And then if we were to replace that, try and put it like right over it. That's gotta be, let me see if I can just adjust this really quick. If I can't, I'll spend a little more time adjusting it later. Well, it's a little bit better than what it was. So I don't want to take all your time here. We'll just use that for now, and then I'll adjust later for whoever's gonna get this piece. This to there. I have to look down so I know where it's hanging. Okay, no, that's not gonna work. I need to take this off. Okay, and then just pretend that that's attached to a necklace. This way though. My freaking mouth looked super weird there. Pretend there's a chain there. I think this one with the crystal would be pretty if it hung a little bit lower there. Anyhow, that's all I have for you guys today. Did Vintage say what they were doing or what Ainsley and Jean were doing for Friday? If they did, I definitely missed that comment. Hi Mustang, we're just finishing up. But Mustang's over on YouTube, so you'll have to join us next week. I do lives every Wednesday. And we get pretty chatty throughout the lives, so it's good to have you here, and hopefully we'll see you next week. And since you're coming in at the end of the live here, you can watch the replay. I think that's all I have for you guys today, though. So I don't see Vintage comment about anything. So just be on the lookout for a post that Vintage makes about Friday's content. And I will see you guys soon. No problem, Carlene. Don't forget to email me warehouse@vintage.com with your product inquiries, et cetera, and I'll see what I can do to put in some custom orders for you ladies and then find some product that I potentially might have on hand. But I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday night. The weekend. And Jean and Ainsley will see you on Friday, and then I'll probably pop in to do a giveaway. So I should see you guys on Friday too. With that being said, I love you so much. I'm thinking of anybody that's got some health issues, Peggy and Sherry. And yeah, I'm done taking